everyone, Randy Tausig,
Gabe Muller.
Blue Core Leadership Lessons from the Cockpit, and we've got one here for you today. Vision without traction is going to get you very frustrated because your plan is going to completely go flat. Case in point, we started Leadership Lessons from the Cockpit. I had a vision for this over a year ago, and we started it, and it just came to a halt.
And what we are committing to do is providing you the leadership lessons from the cockpit in a consistent way, sharing with you lessons that we learn from the cockpit and how they can apply within business.
And the key is that we do have to have reality behind our execution. It is probably not going to be us because here's a 10 quick start and an 8 quick start, but we have some good people involved now that will make sure that this is consistent. We're looking forward to starting this all over again. We'll see you soon. See you in the cockpit. So what's the analogy here with this lesson of having to have execution behind that vision? We're up here on rooftop and we're looking back here at Dulles Airport, right?
That's right.
And when we think about flying, every flight starts with a flight plan, and it has very specifics in terms of that flight plan and what we have to execute on. And some days, like today, which is not a very nice day, we've got low clouds and all, are days where we just have to say we're not launching.
Right, and even if we did launch, it's even more important. It's just more important to make sure that we do have a great plan to execute on, working with ATC and things like that.
Yeah, and some of the traction that just normally goes into aviation and our flights is we have to make sure we're in good shape, that we're proficient, that our airplanes have been well maintained, and we've got a great system around us. Air traffic control is one of them that all comes together to help make the flight safe and the consistency of safe flight just incredible.
Yeah, and it takes a team, and that's the key, right? And it's not just the pilot, but it is a team.
Yeah, and so let's bring that to the organization. When you have a vision, like we had a vision, and I'm going to take responsibility for this, for the leadership lesson for the cockpit, we just didn't have all the elements worked out in terms of who was doing what had to be done, what the expectations were, and who was doing what. So that in our EOS world is the accountability chart. Clear structure that has clear expectations, and then getting the right people in the right seats.
And understanding, once we have right people, right seats, what are those roles that they're filling, right?
Yeah, what are those roles that they're filling, and how is that supporting the vision? So we talked about all the elements here in aviation. You've got that in your business as well, and it can be complex at times, but you have to have all that in place to have the excitement of a vision just staying alive. And I would say that's the big lesson that we had here, and this is an example of a relaunch that we believe has legs because we've now finally figured that out.
You got it.
All right.
Basically, the lesson today is vision without traction is hallucination. We all know the stats. For the first 5 years of the life of a business, 50% of businesses go out of business. Why do they go out of business? Well, I'd say sometimes they don't have a clear vision, but if they do, they don't have the execution behind it. And of course, that's the mistake that I made when I initially set off to do leadership lessons from the cockpit. More about that in a bit. But after that, if you have a clear vision, what we find is you need some kind of a plan that people can align around, understanding how you're going to get there. So there's some reality behind it. And of course, the third part is when there's reality behind it, there are people. We have to make sure that we have the right people in the right seats. Of course, in EOS, that's the accountability chart. But not only do we have to have them in the right seats, it's important that we have an agreement with them. What is it that we expect from them? And are they seeing it the same way? Are we on the same page? Are they set up for success? You get all that together and you have a high probability of success. So that's the business aspect. How do we relate that to the cockpit? Well, here I am in a flight from Florida to Virginia. I'm about halfway there, and I definitely had a vision. I wanted to get there by mid-afternoon. It looks like I'm going to be there by mid-afternoon. I had to do some planning, looking for the weather. As it turns out, today's a pretty good day, so I don't have to do much changes based on weather. And I put together a flight plan. So I had a flight plan where it's in the system, and I'm with air traffic control, and air traffic control is my partner in this process. So that's the third part of it. That's the people part of it, air traffic control, and we're partnering, going to where I need to go and doing it safely. So we have the same thing in the cockpit. We've got a vision. We have to have a plan that we execute. Looks good today for the execution of the plan. We have to have good people as part of the support behind us. So I just want to start the conversation. Have you ever had a great vision, great idea, great excitement around it, and then at some point it may have fizzled out? Would love to have a little conversation about that. Please post your thoughts, and we'll see you next time with leadership lessons from the cockpit. So long.
07 Charlie Delta, left turn near discretion, Alpha to the ramp, my frequency. Have a great night.
Okay, left turn here, Alpha to the ramp will stay with you. You have a good night as well, thanks.